Welcome to Curiosity Club, an exciting show based around fascinating STEM topics that you can tune into on YouTube and Camberlin Radio 107.9 FM. I'm Tess.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Janice.
We've got a lot of interesting things coming up, like some interesting videos about food science and lots of fun jokes and facts.
So speaking of fun facts, Tess, I know you had a few.
Yep. So one fact I have is that, so I think, has anyone ever gone bobbing for apples around Halloween, that kind of time?
Yep.
Not in a wee while, I must admit.
I know it's been a while since people have done that. But if you have been bobbing for apples, you'll notice that apples float in the water, and this is because 25% of their volume is made of air. Really cool.
Oh, that's really interesting. I never really thought about why they float when they seem quite heavy. Good point.
Why do we need to eat? Well, food is the main energy supply for growth, movement, and repairing the body. From birth, living things start growing, gaining weight, and changing. Babies must move on from soft food to solid food. Their teeth are already positioned under the gum, waiting to emerge when they are just 6 months old. I actually told an egg a really funny joke the other day, but it cracked up.
Oh, gosh. So another fact is that food that humans eat is typically made from plants and animals, but we also eat other products such as fermented foods and fungus like mushrooms and truffles. But did you know that humans make food from over 2,000 different plants? I didn't even know there was 2,000 different plants. An example of this is like licorice, if you like licorice, and I know not a lot of people do, but licorice sweets originally were made with the extract from the roots of the licorice plant. So you learn something new every day.
There you go.
Did you guys know that chocolate used to be used as a currency?
No.
Wow.
I know. I kind of miss. I feel like those would have been good times.
Yes. And now it's time for some more science facts.
Did you know that cutting onions releases a gas, syn-propanethyl S oxide, that's the name of the gas, which causes a stinging sensation when it comes into contact with your eyes? Have you ever been chopping an onion and started to cry a wee bit? Well, I have.
All the time, yeah.
It's a bit awkward, isn't it, when you're trying to make dinner and you're in tears?
Yes.
Sometimes if
and you try to rub your eyes because they're in teary and they make it worse.
Well, did you know that your body actually produces tears to dilute the irritant and remove it from your eyes? So your tears are kind of flushing out that gas from your eyes. Now, do you know why we need to cook food?
Because it tastes better.
Well, that's part of it, I think. It also makes things easier to digest, but most importantly, it kills off the germs, including any worms or dirt. It can save us from food poisoning, which is what happens when you become really unwell and you've maybe eaten something that wasn't cooked properly or cleaned properly. It also makes it easier to digest, as the food is cooked down into smaller parts when it's in the body, so that the body can absorb that much easier and give us more energy that we need to survive.
Oh, interesting. Great. And it also tastes better.
And it also tastes better, yeah. Depends on who's cooking it, of course.
Well, yeah. Okay, so where foods come from, obviously we talked about how they come from different plants and animals, but different foods also come from different parts of the world where they are known to grow. So for example, corn, it was actually grown 9,000 years ago in Mexico. And corn is used to make like popcorn. Popcorn is made with like maize corn kernels, which is the little kernels inside the corn. And they explode when you heat them over a fire or a stove, but it's got to be like really hot. It's got to be a temperature of about 180 degrees for the kernels to pop. But when they do pop, each kernel puff, each tiny little kernel grows to more than 20 times its original size, and that's how you get popcorn.
Ah, I'll have a good bit of popcorn.
It's a good snack.
Yeah.
Definitely, and a good movie.
What's your favourite flavour of popcorn?
I like it quite salty. I'm quite plain, salty.
Yeah.
Salty popcorn. Yeah.
Me too.
Nice. You can get all sorts of flavours now, I think.
Yeah. Although the toffee one is nice. I like toffee.
Need to look into that one.
Speaking of food coming from interesting places, one of them is honey. Honey is actually made from nectar and bee vomit, which makes it sound a lot less appetizing. But honey is actually the only edible food for humans that won't go bad. So there's that. That's a plus.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
What do you call a cheese that's feeling low?
Oh, I don't know.
Blue cheese.
Oh, Tess, that joke was cheesy. Do you know what cheese is made backwards? Edam.
Oh, Edam. All right, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, you had me going in my head trying to say cheese backwards.
Yeah.
SH.
Really bad, isn't it? Really bad. Right, Tess, that was really interesting. I didn't actually know that about honey. So yeah, I didn't know it was made from bee vomit, which sort of changes my opinion on it a wee bit.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Now, earlier on, I did a wee experiment to find out what foods you can use to clean a penny. Here's a wee clip, and you can see for yourself how I got on. Thanks, team. Now, when we think of cleaning fluids, we usually think of washing up liquid or soap. But what else could we use to clean items from around the house? We could use soap, but could we also use things like ketchup, vinegar? Pretty sure they're meant for chips, but there's only one way to find out, isn't there? Let's do an experiment. I have here 3 slightly dirty 2-penny pieces. They're not particularly shiny, as you can see. I also have some ketchup, some soapy water, and some vinegar that I'm going to use to try and clean these pennies. Now, which do you think will work the most? I also have some kitchen roll here because this is going to get messy. Right, okay, first thing that I'll do is I'm going to put some warmish soapy water in here. So this is just with washing up liquid. I've also got some, in another dish, I'm going to put in some tomato ketchup. As much as you want. Yeah. Give it a good squeeze. Don't use all of it. And in this one, I'm going to put in, put some vinegar in here, just making sure you can see all that. So this is our soapy water, this is our ketchup, and in here we'll have our vinegar. Okay. So here we have our 3 liquids. Okay, now I'm going to put a 2-penny piece into the soapy water. I'm going to put a 2-penny piece into the vinegar. Now you don't have to have tons and tons and tons of ketchup or vinegar or soapy water, but enough for the coin to be completely covered by it. I dunk that in there. I'm going to have to push it in a little bit. There we go. See what I mean about getting a wee bit dirty here? Just give my finger a wipe. I'm going to set a wee timer for 5 minutes. Okay, now I'm just going to give it a wee bit of time for these coins to soak in there, and we'll find out very soon which coins have come out the cleanest. And that's 5 minutes. Now, let's take our coins out and see which ones have come out the cleanest. Now, what I'm going to do is just to make it easier for myself to remember which was which, I'm going to just make a bit of space here and put the coins next to the one that they were in, just to make it easy to remember. So here we go. So this is the 2p piece that was in soapy water. I'm just going to give it a wee wipe just to see how it got on. Now, I'm going to hold this up to the camera there. It doesn't look that much cleaner, does it? It looks still quite grimy. I'll hold up to this one too, see if that's better. Yeah, it's still quite grimy. So I'm just put it next to the penny, to the wee jar there. Right, let's get this one out of the vinegar. Okay. Now, the one that was in the vinegar, it's not like a night and day difference, but when we hold it up there, you can start to see round the sides a wee bit. It is just a touch more shiny than what it was. These were all about the same sort of level of dirtiness before it. So if I hold them up, this one is, I don't know if you can get it in the light. I'll hold them up here. So this one is slightly more shiny. You can just see that with the light reflecting off it. This is the dirtier one. This is the vinegar one. Yep, still smells of vinegar. Let's see about the one that was in the ketchup. Yeah, you have to put your hands in the ketchup for this one. So this is what I was saying about it. Oh, gads. That's what people in air say if something's disgusting. Right. I'm going to get some more kitchen roll. Told you this would get messy. Give this a proper good wipe. Ketchup's quite strong smelling when it's not in your food, isn't it? Right. It's still a bit tomato ketchupy. What I'm going to do, if you give me a wee second, I'm just going to give this a wee rinse, but it's already looking much cleaner. So this, again, was pretty much the same as the other 2 pennies to start off with. So if I... what I'll do to make it a fair experiment, I'm going to just go and wash my hands very quickly to get all the ketchup off my hands. Right, so I've washed my hands a wee bit, and I'll give this just a wee bit more of a wipe because there's still a wee bit of ketchup on there. When I was walking through with that kitchen roll covered in tomato sauce, my partner was like, "What have you done?" Not quite like that. Right, okay, so yeah, that does look much cleaner. If you can see it there, it's much shinier, isn't it? I'll hold it up there too. So just for comparison, in fact, here's a penny that I had that was about the same level of dirtiness that I didn't put into anything. That's kind of like a control. We call it a control. So if you just compare them, again, try not to let the light taint this too much. So this one here is the one that was in ketchup. This one was not. This was not done anything. This was the one that was in the soapy water. Okay. And that was not. That was in the ketchup. Again, I'll just hold up to this camera too. So this actually cleaned my 2 penny a little bit. Okay, so why is that happening? Well, it's happening because if you think about the taste of ketchup, you usually have just like a wee bit on your chips, but if you have too much, it can be quite tangy. It can make your mouth go like that. That's because it's very acidic. So you get different levels of acidity. And that can be quite corrosive if it's more acidic. The vinegar was a wee bit acidic, not as much as the ketchup though. You can see the kind of difference between this was the vinegar one, again the light's not great, and the ketchup one. So yeah, it's more acidic. So what does that mean? Does that mean we should wash everything in the house with ketchup? No, that would get pretty smelly pretty quickly, doesn't it? But it kind of means that maybe ketchup is quite good at cleaning some things, like pennies or other kind of metal things. But there's still a good place for warm water and soap. All right, hope you enjoyed that one and don't get too messy. Back to the studio.
Curiosity!
Here are some more interesting facts. Around 8% of children and 2% of adults have some kind of food allergy. This occurs when the body's immune system incorrectly assumes that a certain food is harmful and attacks it. So common examples of a food allergy might be something like peanuts or gluten or shellfish.
That's interesting.
It really is.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd like to be allergic to any foods because I do love food, and I don't know if it would stop me, especially if it was chocolate. I would probably.
I know,
yeah,
for sure. Raw egg onto a concrete floor without cracking it.
I don't know. That's difficult.
Any way you want, because the concrete floors are very hard to crack.
Oh
yeah.
Taxi for Tess.
Oh yeah.
Oh dear.
So a wee bit more about foods from around the world. And did you know, obviously, that chocolate is made from cocoa beans that grows as a fruit of the cocoa tree?
Mm-hmm.
And indigenous people in South America have used cocoa beans as food for more than 3,000 years. The Aztecs actually ground the dried beans to a powder and made a delicious drink by mixing the cocoa powder with water and herbs. But later the drink was kind of sweetened with honey or sugar, and today we sweeten it mainly with milk. So that's hot chocolate.
Oh.
There you go. So I wonder how that would taste. I know you can still make some hot chocolates with water, but herbs and honey, it might be worth a try. So cocoa is grown in more than 35 countries around the world, but most of the beans are produced by the Ivory Coast. And you will know more like chocolate, more like milk chocolate. It was invented by Henry Nestle in Switzerland in 1875. But again, different countries have different tastes. So British people enjoy milk chocolate the most, but Americans prefer chocolate in like candy bars. So like chocolate wrapped around the puff candy and things like that.
Oh, right.
But do you know what chocolate bar never laughs at jokes?
I don't know. I can't guess this one.
No. A Snickers, because he only Snickers.
Oh,
No.
oh boy.
Yeah, they're getting worse.
Yeah, I was going to try and do another wee chocolate joke, but I couldn't think of one, so I'm sorry for being a flake. I won't quit the day job. Right, okay, now here's a wee bit of trivia for you. Now, when we think of fruit and veg, you know, do you kind of think of veg as maybe more like kind of savoury food and fruit more like sweet food?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With that in mind, then, tomatoes, are they a fruit or a veg? What do you think?
Well, I would say a vegetable because you have it in like salad. You have it along with dinner items, whereas like a fruit is more of a sweet dessert thing.
Yeah. What about you, Tess?
Oh, hard to say. I'm maybe leaning towards Janice's answer. It sounds so. I always think of it as a vegetable.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? That's what I thought as well. But I was doing a wee bit of research for today and realised that tomatoes are actually a fruit. So according to science, tomatoes are fruits. All fruits have a single seed or many seeds inside them and grow from the flower of a plant. Like other true fruits, tomatoes form from small yellow flowers on the vine and naturally contain a multitude of seeds. These seeds can later be harvested and used to produce more tomato plants. Isn't that fascinating?
Wow.
There you go. Now, a wee joke for you, and listen, my jokes so far haven't been great, so here we go. What do you call a group of strawberries playing the guitar?
Oh, what do you call a group of strawberries playing the guitar?
You call it a jam session.
I
like that one. Yeah.
I was just seeding that joke throughout the session.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We'll be back next time with some interesting facts about electricity.
And some more fun experiments.
You can catch all that next time on Camglen Radio and Healthy and Happy's YouTube page. Until next time, I'm Tess.
And I'm Janice.
And I'm Matt. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.